Awesome. I don't know how much I'm going to get through today, but the title of my message is, Are We the Friend Everyone Longs For? And how awesome was Chris Atchie last week? Who was here? I quickly... Oh, there was only that many here last week. How sad. Well, I'm glad you turned up today, so I can repeat what he says and it doesn't matter. No. I quickly listened to him yesterday. I went, oh gosh, I better look and make sure I don't contradict what he says or say anything. But, I loved it. He spoke on caring for people, on being approachable. I don't know whether I should be offended or not. I noticed he said how Pastor Brian was so approachable and I didn't get a mention. And I was like... Okay, Jesus, just reveal some stuff to me about that, about being intentional and about being vulnerable. So it was so good. So I want to add another layer to what Chris shared and what all the speakers have been sharing on as we do this series. If you're here for the first time or haven't been part of the church, we're actually doing a whole series on relationships and in particular honing in on friendships. So who thinks friendships are important? Great. And I really believe this is going to help some people this morning in... believing for new friendships for you, for breakthroughs in friendship, and maybe some unhealthy stuff going on in friendships, and even some things that might need to change in our personal life, like our attitude or behaviour towards being a friend. I think sometimes we're really quick to blame. It's always that person, and it's always someone else's fault. But I'm trying to make myself be more accountable and go, you know what, God, there's something going down in this relationship. Show me what's the thing in me that you need for me to change and deal with in my life, and not necessarily the other person. I am really thankful for C3 and that it values relationships and friendships. And so we get to hear a lot about relationships, and because who knows, it's a massive area, right? So I'm really only going to skim the surface this morning on friendships, but I just want to bring with you some of my thoughts. Went to print out my sermon this morning, and who knows, when your husband's away, who's the tech head, the printer decides to just not take through one piece of paper but 50 pieces of paper and just scream at me and not print it. So please, iPad, work for me. When we have friends to play with, friends to go on holidays with, or to come over and have a meal with, life is great, isn't it? Some of our greatest joys in life are with our friends, and some of our greatest sorrows are within our friendships also. Almost anything bad can be sweet with friends, and almost anything good can be terrible without them. Friendship is a wonderful gift when we have it, but it can be increasingly hard to come by. Think about some of the most popular sitcoms over the past couple of decades. I'm not recommending you go out and watch them, okay? But, Seinfeld, Cheers, Friends. We're big Friends fans, us, the girls in my house. The Big Bang Theory. And what are they all about? Friendships. Dysfunctional friendships. Crazy friendships. We look at them and we laugh. They make us laugh. But I wouldn't recommend you go and do friendships like they are. But, people love to laugh at friendships and issues. But they're all about relationships. God created us for relationships. And it's harder and harder to find them for several reasons. So I just want to look at a few reasons that we might struggle to find friends or to make friends. We are people on the move. Part of it is our mobility. We move from different places. It's so much easier now to move from that town to that city, to across the world. We can get across the world in 24 hours now. We've got commitments, we've got holidays, we've got sports commitments, but we are a people on the move. We're all over the place, and I think we fit more into our schedules than ever before. So that can be one issue for us. Family life requires a lot more commitment than it probably ever did before. Even back when I was a kid, yes, back in the dinosaur ages, I know that my parents were busy. They had a 7-day-a-week business, and us kids did sport, but it was kind of like just one night a week. You didn't have training and whatever, but I know for the younger two, I'm not going to mention their names so I don't have to pay them, is soccer. And soccer for them, that's 2 nights of training a week per child, which makes it 4 nights, and then you've got your soccer games and whatever. So there's just a lot more stuff put on us. Another one is, and I think I want to spend a bit more time on this, an area that makes it really hard for friendships is the whole technology area, the pressure that puts on relationships. I mean, I can't keep up with text messages, emails, notifications from Basecamp and Podio and Elvanto. I need a personal assistant just to answer all that for me. I deliberately did not look at my emails all this week. I really didn't have time. And I came home to 157 emails, just from my C3 church one, not my other chaplaincy one. And I'm like, oh, it's overwhelming. And we have to keep up with it all. And so, technology can help us connect, but it can also hurt our connections. And it can cause us to be time poor and live more isolated. We can do almost anything online. It's crazy. Technology is great for giving us all sorts of acquaintances, but it's not great for giving us real friends. That could be a whole sermon right there on that. I'm not going to go down there. I'm just going to throw it out there. Friendship is a powerful thing, and that's why it's no surprise that one of the most popular features on Facebook is the friends. Everyone here knows what Facebook is, right? Is there anyone that doesn't know what Facebook is? Haha, very funny. It's the most popular social get-together place on the internet. There are over 400 million users, and I discovered this week, that if Facebook and all its users and friends had its own country, get this, it would be the third largest nation in the world. Isn't that insane? So the average Facebook user has about 150 friends, but there are many that can have hundreds, thousands of friends. I've got around 1,800 friends on Facebook. I say that for this point. Now, I have a rule. I only befriend people that I know. I refuse to friend strangers, and it's a rule I have with my kids as well. But in amongst those 1,800 people that are my friends, many of these people really aren't my friends. They're people that I respect. They're people I would like to get to know more. They're old school friends. They're old work colleagues. Could be family, could be C3 connections. But very few of them are what I would call my friends. And I can say here the strange thing about Facebook and social media is that, it's supremely ironic that we are more connected than ever before and yet more lonely than we've ever been. How crazy is that? How can that be? A few reasons. The bonds on Facebook and other social media tools are extremely shallow and no substitute for real friendship. We see people seemingly living wonderful, glorious, magnificent lives, and our life just looks like crap. Has anyone done that? We fall into the comparison trap. I have people come up to me and they go, oh, Sharon, you have the best life. I want your life. I see what you put on Facebook. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't hang my dirty washing out on Facebook. They only see the best of the best. And can I add there, don't hang your dirty washing out on Facebook. Got a clothesline for that. I think it should be when we let them get on social media, I was like, there's one rule, there's two rules. You only befriend people you know. Second one is you only positive, kind things, kind words only. But then we compare to that and we think that, oh, that's that person's magnificent life and all that. But we have crazy, bad days just like everyone else. We allow the busyness, partly created by our technology, to push us to spend more time on our machines and less in actual time of relationships. These things can rule our lives. Don't let them. This last week, it was so good. One, I didn't really have time for it, but in my spare time, I was not going to be sitting on this. And we had the most incredible week. My phone sat in my bag and I would check it occasionally. And we had real conversations around the table, face to face. Some of you kids probably don't even know how to do that anymore. We're so connected online. And when you're online and you're not face to face, you can say more things than what you probably should say. But, there's something about being around the table and that face to face. And I believe Brian and I made lifelong friends this week because we all let down our guard. We weren't ruled by technology and we actually got to know people. We asked questions. It was so exciting. So I encourage you to do that. Just throw them away sometime and just go, I'm done with you. So good. Awesome. So we can have lots of relationships and connections. We have people sitting around us that we know. We have people in Connect Group. We have people in church. We have people in work. We have people around the neighbourhood in our schools and all that. But, we can know lots of people. But think about how many friends we actually have. Are we the friend that everyone wants to have? We all have families, some far, some may be estranged. But at some point, there are always family connections. And we have to sort through those. But friendship's a kind of optional thing, isn't it? You're born into a family, but we choose our friends. Proverbs 20 verse 6 says, "Many a man proclaims his own steadfast love, but a faithful man or woman or friend who can find?" And what I want to focus on is how to be a friend. I think the greatest biblical model of friendship is between Jonathan and David. And I'm not going to go there because it's quite a long story to read it and get all the texture on it. So I'm giving you homework, church. You've got to read 1 Samuel. It starts at about chapter 20, maybe a bit before. And I want us to read that and discover some incredible pearls of loyalty friendship that was formed through that friendship. So I want to focus more on the book of Proverbs. Who loves Proverbs? That, I tell you, if you... Oh, what did I just do? Did I stop my timer? No, I didn't. What a shame. Have I spent that long on the introduction? No way. My timer's gone crazy. But, you know, Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, there's 31 chapters. I love, and I would encourage us, if we're struggling to read the Bible, read 1 chapter of Proverbs per day, depending on what the date is. So the date's the 10th today, so I read the 10th of Proverbs. The 10th chapter. But there are so many pearls of wisdom on how to do life in every situation in the book of Proverbs. So get it, read it, devour it. It's good for you. I was sitting on the plane having this incredible epiphany of Proverbs, whatever the date was yesterday. Going, oh, wow, what does that mean? So good. So there you go. Anyway, where are we? We all have a mental picture of the kinds of friends that we want to have in our lives. We want friends to be supportive. We want friends to do life with us when things are tough, who will encourage us and not tear us down, who will not judge us. But let's flip this around and see what kind of friend we really are. I have 3 questions for us all today as we consider what sort of friend we are. Are we fake? Are we foul? And are we faithful? Yeah, I know, foul's a little bit overkill, but I wanted to stick with the F thing because my OCD of having it all the same, so I have to be very careful there. So, okay, are we fake? Question number 1. One characteristic of the fake friend in Proverbs is that he or she uses people. And I think we can all sit here and go, oh, yes, can all think of someone. The fake friends make friends with people who give them things. They establish relationship for personal gain. In Proverbs, this usually means money, but I believe it can be fame, sports, looks, you know, anything that causes someone to be of significance. So there's 3 Proverbs. I've got my trusty little, thanks Absy, up there. 3 Proverbs around this is Proverbs 19:4. Wealth brings many new friends, but a poor man is deserted by his friend. Proverbs 14:20, the poor is disliked by his neighbour, but the rich has many friends. Proverbs 19:6 and 7, many seek the favour of a generous man, and everyone is a friend to a man who gives gifts. All a poor man's brothers hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursues them with words, but does not have them. So in Proverbs we see that wealth actually attracts friends, but let me tell you, there's complications that come with that, with friendships. I was reading about Billy Graham, and he had over 50 years of being close to the presidents, to many presidents. And as the more Billy became famous, the presidents often wanted a selfie with him, a photo to say, I know this man. And some of them had genuine spiritual interests, but majority of them, the reasons I said the presidents love being around Billy, is that he didn't seem interested in getting anything from them. It wasn't a power play. They felt that he was someone that they could talk to and wasn't like everyone else in Washington that must surround themselves with a president in order to get something. Billy Graham was just literally there for them. So let's make sure we love the person we love and we don't just love what they can give us. Are we friends so that I might scratch your back and then you scratch my back? Or perhaps I might use my platform to then get to your platform? Or perhaps they're close to people that we want to get close to. Or perhaps they can do favours for us in business, in politics, in church. Are we a fake friend? Here's the second question. Are we a foul friend? A foul friend is quick to criticise. I think there are 2 types of people that struggle to make friends. And one was just what we previously mentioned. And the other sort is it's hard to be a friend with a hypocritical person. They have an opinion on everything, they verbalise everything, and they're just a relentless barrage of negativity. I don't know about you, but I do not want to be friends with people like that. They do not attract me towards themselves. Anyone? Yeah? You got that? But oh, how refreshing it is to find a friend with someone who's the absolute opposite of that. Proverbs 11-12 says, "Whoever belittles his neighbour lacks sense, but a man of understanding remains silent." It's okay to have an unarticulated opinion, and often we share in means of self-expression. But sometimes we don't think what our words may be doing or whether they're even necessary. A foul friend gets into conflict that could have been avoided. You ever found those people that they just will find anything to start some fire? Proverbs 3:29-30 says, "Do not plan evil against your neighbour who dwells trustingly beside you. Do not contend with a man for no reason when he has done you no harm." Ouch. Have you had this happen to you or done it to others? You know, you almost ruin a friendship because you're having a bad day. You've had a bad moment. You've had a tough day at work, or because you were suspicious or jealous or too sensitive or too insensitive. You know, we see it in homes and families. Mum's upset with dad, and then mum then gets upset with the rest of the kids, or vice versa, and it's just this ongoing thing. And it happens in friendships too. You know, something went wrong at work or, you know, whatever, and we're quick to assume, to snap, and not give the benefit of the doubt. What about annoying or rude friends? It's not just a matter of personality or temperament. Rude, annoying people are often not aware or don't care about social customs or cultural norms. Now, I'm going to share a story with you. Please don't judge me, okay, of something that I did really terrible and I'm really ashamed of, but to illustrate the point. I was young. Okay, we don't judge. That's my next point. So I was like sanguine crazy, always wanted to get out and socialise. So I went on school holiday camps just about every school holiday. And I'd go to the Uniting Church camps, mainly because I wanted to find a guy. I was boy chasing. Not at all about the Jesus factor. I'm just being real and honest, okay? And so on this one particular camp, it was at Turner's Beach at the Uniting Church campsite. And I had my group of friends because we were groupies because we'd been to lots of camps and whatever. And Daniel's laughing, I told him this story. This camp, a new girl came along and she just decided she wanted to be our friend, and we actually didn't really like her, if we were being honest. Well, I was probably, I don't know, grade 6, maybe grade 7. And she was annoying. She was opinionated. She was just annoying. And we didn't want her in our friendship group. So we were like, how are we going to get rid of her? Like, we're stuck with her all week. And I'm sure it wasn't my idea at all. But they had really big tractor tyres there where you'd put someone in, you'd push them and give them a... You all know where this is going. And so I thought it was time we paid this girl a lesson. So we were getting in these tyres and pushing each other around. We didn't give her a turn. We made her wait till last. And then I'm sure it was my other friend said, I know what we can do. So we put this poor girl, I can still see her, oh gosh, put her in the tyre, and we went 1, 2, 3 and gave her a massive big push, and we all ran and left her rolling with no one. And we thought it was hilarious and it would teach her a lesson. And little did we know there were leaders watching us, our every move and our voices. And she fell and flattened, hurt herself and cried, and we still thought it was funny. Isn't that terrible? I'm so glad I know Jesus a lot better now. And so the walk of shame was then the leader coming out going, right, Sharon, Patrina, I think there were 4 of us, come up here now. And we had to sit on the bank of shame in front of everyone mucking around, and we just got growled at for being, what, terrible friends. How could we do that? Don't do that, okay? There's the moral of the story. So that was really bad. So when people are rude, just choose to, not push them in a tyre and leave them running. Don't get on my bad side. No. What about teasing? There's a way to tease each other that actually builds a bond of laughter and joking and bringing people together in a shared humour. But there's also a way of teasing which is simply not loving your neighbour as yourself, not saying the sort of things that you'd ever want anyone to say about you. And the Bible calls that rude, and the Bible says love is not rude. This might all seem like unimportant stuff, but it really is a matter of biblical obedience. that we not be rude, that we love our neighbour as ourselves. Proverbs 3:27 to 28 says, "Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due when it is in your power to do it. Do not say to your neighbour, 'Go and come again tomorrow. I'll give it to you when I have it already with me.'" In other words, a good friend is eager to meet the need of a neighbour or a friend, not pushing them away, keeping them at arm's length. Foul friends don't keep their end of the bargain. Who's had some of those? They don't return favours. You give them something and they never return it. Oh gosh, I apologise in advance. I know my husband has lent stuff off some of you and we probably haven't given it back to you. I'm sorry, okay? Please forgive us. But I'm not necessarily talking about things like that. These people are slow to help. They look for ways to avoid being called upon. They're always out of town when you got to move. They're always busy when you need a ride somewhere. You know, you cannot trust them to keep their word. And along the same lines of foul friends, they're careless with their words. And I think this is one that we've just so got to watch, because once a word's spoken, you can't take it back. Proverbs 21:23 says, "Those who guard their mouths and tongues keep themselves from calamity." I struggle with this. I have foot in mouth, and I apologise. I reckon I've possibly said something to nearly everyone here of offense. I think before I speak, and I'm conscious of, what did I say? No, I don't think before I speak. That's my problem. I just prophesied that. From this day forward, I think before I speak, in Jesus' name. Proverbs 17:27-28 says, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." That's another whole sermon right there in itself, which I'd love to unpack another day. I'd have too many stories and examples of what I've done and said, though. Words can hurt after you launch them, no matter what your intention in launching them might be. So be careful. You know, I know some people are too sensitive and it doesn't matter what you say, they get offended by it. But, you know, I want us to think about it from our point of view. What can I control? Being mindful about how my words will affect others. Are we a foul friend? Are we a fake friend? And my final one is, are we a faithful friend? Proverbs sketches out the characteristics of a faithful friend. A faithful friend is there in times of trouble. Proverbs 27:10 says, "Do not forsake your friend and your father's friend, and do not go to your brother's house in the day of calamity. Better is a neighbour who is near than a brother who is far away." That's an amazing piece of scripture, considering how valuable family was back there in the ancient times. But for them to say, look, you're in trouble, better to have a neighbour and a friend right there, even than a brother who's far away. And again, that is so much to unpackage, and I'm only going to touch on a little bit today. But the thought seems to be in this proverb for me is, don't overlook your friends. They will be there for you every bit as much as family will. That's what it means to be a real friend, a faithful friend. And here's the blessing and the challenge that some of us have, because some of us have the great blessing. We have lots of family around us, all here with us. Maybe because we grew up here, maybe because people moved to be here with us. We've got brothers and sisters and dads and mums and cousins and crazy aunts. Who's got a crazy aunt? I am that crazy aunt. I know you find that hard to believe, but, I am. But, so there's always lots of family around. But let's be mindful. There's also lots of people in our world that don't have family. And so they need our friendship. And we need to remember that God is calling us to be a faithful friend, even at times when it means going to our neighbour's house instead of our brother's. Every Christmas, Brian and I and several others in our church always look out for people that we think might be on their own for Christmas, that don't have people to do Christmas with. How sad that, I've heard of stories where people have literally had Christmas on their own because they had no one. And so we're looking around and thinking about who we're connected to. And so last Christmas was so cool. We invited a lady to come and have Christmas with us who we knew she didn't have family and couldn't get back to family. And then she invited two strangers that she'd met at her work that had just moved here and knew no one. So they came along to Christmas as well. It was so good. I love it. It's cool. I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? Yeah, great. Welcome. Let's eat turkey and stuff ourselves. So good. Real friendship is proven in adversity. Proverbs 17:17 says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity." There's a pearl of wisdom for family right there. Just don't worry when your kids are fighting, and it's in the Word of God, so it's okay. It's biblical. Proverbs 18:24 says, "A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother." Who's going to visit you in hospital? Or who are you going to visit when you know someone's in hospital? Who would drop everything to be with you in a time of absolute crisis? Who is it you know in your world right now in an absolute crisis and you need to drop stuff and be that friend that they need? When there's marriage issues or issues with your kids, the opposite of a fake friend is the faithful friend. The fake friend is in it for themselves, and they will leave you when your life gets messy. The faithful friend says, "You know what, your life's a mess, I'm coming over. Let me help you, let me clean up for you, let me wipe your tears, let me blow your snot away from your nose, let me scream with you, let me pray with you, let me laugh with you." Maybe one of the blessings that God wants to give us in the midst of these difficult times is the blessing of a friend. So let's be that blessing. Let's be that friend. We are not created to do life in isolation and on our own. I have a beautiful, better check the time. No, really? Oh my gosh, who's going to give me 5 minutes? Awesome, thank you. 5? Anyone got 5? 5, 10, 15, thank you. No, it's all good. I have a beautiful friend in Wynyard that I met just after Brian and I got married, and her name's Alison. And she would have to be one of my most faithful friends who, we can go months without chatting, seeing each other, but she's just always there for me, no matter the cost, no matter what we go through. And it is so important to have that person. I'm very blessed. I have several people like that in my life, and I want to be that person, that friend to those people as well. A faithful friend knows how to handle conflict. They don't hold grudges. Keeping a long, detailed record of wrongs is like building friendship with a revolver under our coat. We're ready to pounce. We're ready to download and blast that person as soon as all those ways they've hurt me and all those ways they've disappointed me. But that's not how to be a friend, keep a friend, or find a friend. Faithful friends don't seek revenge. They're always eager to forgive. We did a crazy fun thing this week called archery in Sydney. It was an exercise to get to know each other, and so we'd literally just met these people and we got to go shoot them and throw things out. I loved it. It was so good. I was like, "Sharon, they've just met you. Be kind. Don't be competitive." And where am I going with this? I have no idea. Sorry. Well, I was a bit competitive, yeah. But I don't know where I was going with it. I don't know. Oh, eager to forgive, yes. So, and don't hold account. So we had a few people that got shot in certain areas that were slightly painful, and but we had to go. We are with each other for this week, and let's just forget, let's forgive, and let's move on. Let's be like that with our friendships and friends. Proverbs 24. Did I read that? Proverbs 24:28-29. My gosh. "Be not a witness against your neighbour without cause. Do not deceive him with your lips. Do not say, 'I will do to him as he has done to me. I will pay back the man for what he has done.'" I could have gone into that archery game to pay back some of those people that got me, but I didn't. And it's the same with our friendships. We can just, they've done something wrong, but, let's just be so kind to forgive, to let go, and to move on, to not hold offence. A faithful friend is eager to let the past be the past. Yeah, we talk through it, we've heard about it, we're not going to dwell on it. And what tears down friendship faster than when you hear something secondhand or thirdhand about how much someone has been talking bad about you? Don't you love those type of people that just want to come and tell you, "Did you know such and such just said such and such about that to you and that person?" Can I encourage us? Let's speak to our friends, not around our friends. It's amazing how many people we will talk to when we have a personal conflict, but we don't think to talk to that person with whom the conflict is actually in. Proverbs 16:28 says, "A perverse person stirs up conflict and a gossip separates close friends." got an issue, go straight to the person. Proverbs 25, 9-10 says, argue your case with your neighbour himself, and do not reveal another's secret, lest he who hears you bring shame upon you and ill repute have no end. Oh, youch. Says it pretty blunt and straight there. My last point on being a faithful friend is, may our strongest relationships be with those that lead us to Christ, who encourage us and grow us and stretch us. And I know Chris briefly talked on this last week as well, but not relationships that draw us away from Christ, but relationships and friendships that draw us closer to Christ. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, bad company corrupts good character. Yes, we want relationships with non-Christians. Yes, we want to be engaging with those that haven't yet met Jesus. Yes, we can have very good friendships with people who don't yet know Jesus. But particularly you young people right now, when you're much more impressionable than you think, spend your time with those who will draw you closer to Jesus, not with those who will push you away. Let our deepest friendships be gospel friendships. Is that what your deepest friendship's about? I bet if we were honest and went round the room, some of our deepest friendships are our football friendships, our soccer friendships, our complaining friendships, our fishing friendships. But are they gospel friendships? We would be negligent if we didn't finish by quickly talking about the beautiful, amazing friend we already have. And if we are a Christian, we have this friend, better than anything the world can give us, Jesus Christ. John 15:13 says, greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for their friends. Of course, Jesus is so much more than a friend. We would be reducing Jesus if we only knew him as a friend. But he is our friend. He calls us his friend. He's our friend, always looking out for our best. He laid down his life for you and I. He's never a fake friend. He's never a foul friend. He's not quick to criticize. He's slow to anger. He's never annoying or rude. He's thoughtful, tender, and gentle. And unlike us, Jesus never lets us down. He's always trustworthy and always a faithful friend, to comfort us in trouble and to deliver us from our greatest troubles and mess-ups in life. And here's why Jesus is unlike any other friend we've ever had. He doesn't just make us better, he makes us new.